I'm feeling the theme of division, right? When I opened the show, I talked about the fact that I'm a first generation American, right? But in the words of the great and late James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud. Does it help the overall movement to pour water in the Kool-Aid by diluting and questioning people's level of blackness? Um, that's open to the panel. That's open to the panel.
When you say questioning their level of blackness, specifically, what do you mean?
So like when you go at a Kamala Harris, and I want to say there's a group also, ADOS,
Yeah.
where you know what I'm saying, we are direct descendants of slaves. So if you ain't one of us, then how real are you? When the police see my black ass, they don't have no DNA test in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell that I'm Panamanian in Guatemala. You see black. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it helps. There's strength in numbers, right? Ain't that what the Warriors said? That was their whole campaign, strength in numbers. The more unified we can be, the more universal we understand that we actually are, that there's black people all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Of course, America, but we actually everywhere. Um, I'm just kind of more speaking towards unity, you know?
Okay. Well, I think with the ADOS people, I think what they're specifically talking about in terms of that is reparations. And if you start talking about reparations for slavery, then they're narrowing their focus to who should get those reparations. And
Got
if
it.
you are an American descendant of slavery, then those reparations will come back to people who can trace slavery back to these Americans, right? In terms of being black, you can't quantify black. Black looks like Hispaniola. Black looks like Jamaica. Black looks like everything. Black looks like Africa. Black looks like Chicago. Black looks like Los Angeles. Black is it's all. But in that there are different ethnicities, right? And we have differences, right? When I go there and I talk to my homies up there that's Afro Latino from New York, they're eating different things. They're singing different songs. They're speaking a different language. That's all okay. That's cool. Like we need to concentrate on the things that unify us, right? The thing that put us apart, that really just has to do with how beautiful we are. I'm from South Louisiana. Like I don't know where y'all from, but I eat better than y'all do. We sing, we got better rap, all of that. You know what I mean? That's a specific type of blackness that comes from where I'm from in South Louisiana. But that doesn't like you can't have some of my gumbo.
Right.
It's not. It's like it's just mine. Nah, that's something that came out of slavery. That food, that way of life, that way of living. That's for all of us to share. So you know.
So do you feel like Kamala is black enough?
What you mean? She black.
Right. Ain't you?
Okay.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I always wonder. I'm not a conspiracy
It don't get
theorist.
blacker than the Howard, AKA.
Right.
Like, you
I'm
know
not a
what I'm saying?
conspiracy
Like,
theorist, but I always wonder, like, where does this talking point even come from? Like,
I
I
don't
feel
even
like
know
I'm
it's-
thoroughly entrenched in the black community, and I don't see anybody bringing up this subject when they talk about Kamala. But I see. I
Oh
mean,
man.
Oh, it
the
was
Breakfast Club brought
big.
it up, but
Yeah, it was a big
Oh,
conversation.
black
Yeah.
Twitter, man. Yeah, it's good.
It was a big conversation. It was weird though because there were two poles of people who sometimes do see eye to eye. There was you saw a lot of conspiracy theorists on the right saying, hey, is she even a legitimate candidate? Because they were questioning because both of her parents were immigrants.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of like ugly xenophobia going down there. And then you did have this kind of super woke reparations based community saying, why is it that one of us it does not get this nomination? And all of a sudden, like these two communities sometimes see eye to eye. Like it's like if it's a circle, sometimes you can go all the way around and their views can kind of meet in some ways. It's like it's a waste of time. It's like majoring in the minors. You know, Vance said it. Whatever you think about her heritage, or even the fact that she is married to a white man, this was a woman who was born in Oakland, born and raised in Oakland, went to Howard University,
Right.
and has lived the life of a black woman in every way, and has never denied that, has always represented it. I think it does get to this reality that in this time there's just a lot of tension and frustration in our country in general, and social media has a weird way of amplifying sometimes our biggest frustrations, our biggest divisions. And it's a terrible way. Like, the truth is, it is complicated why certain people rise to power and certain people don't.
For sure.
There's a complicated, nuanced conversation that we should have there, but that conversation doesn't work really well on Twitter. And so on Twitter, when you have to condense this nuanced thought about the diaspora into a small number of characters, it ends up sounding offensive. But there is truth to why certain people rise to power in American politics and certain people don't. And ethnicity, even the race of your partner, the race of your parents, all of that stuff gives certain people access that other people don't have access to. And yet when you try to say that in a few characters, it's going to almost always come off wrong, you know?
I'm rocking with you on that, Van. It really don't get no blacker than an HBCU, aka. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something.
I'm with you on that.
I want to let you know something. If Kamala gets into the White House, we gonna hear ski-wees. Y'all have no idea how it's gonna be. You know how you hear the crickets outside?
Man.
Right.
It's gonna be ski-wee
nation.
For 4 years, it's gonna be nothing but ski-wees. All you're gonna hear, you're gonna be walking, ski-wee, on the whole.
Right. You ain't that.
There's a lot of pride there.
You know what's crazy to me about this too, though, is I feel like we won, like, in a way. Like, I don't think that Kamala was always going to be the choice. I felt like there's a good chance that it was going to be Gretchen, the governor from Michigan, or it's going to be Elizabeth Warren. Right. Klobuchar had a good chance. And then George Floyd happened in the Black Lives Matter protests. And this is, I don't want to say like a reward, but this is the result of those protests. And then you also have Black people vouching for Kamala, whether it was Donna Brazile or the head of the Black Lives Matter movement actually talking to the Biden campaign saying, yes, we think this is the best choice. So it's weird to me. Like, why can't we celebrate that we got to win? I mean, I guess everybody's not going to always be on the same page, but like, this is huge.
Yeah, we got it is definitely huge, Brandon. We got a comment that just jumped in and said multiracial people just can't win. If they say they're Black, ignorant people say they're not. But when they say I'm not Black, I'm biracial, then people mad. That sounds like the Tiger Woods attack. But staying on Kamala, because she was a prosecutor in California before she became a senator. And there are a lot of people, particularly Black men, who take issue with the way she did her job because so many Black men were incarcerated. Van, as a Black man, and Devon too as well, do you look at her sideways for her record? Really, I want to go to you first, Devon. Do you look at her sideways for her record? And does this make her, is it a fair critique to go in on her, being that she was locking brothers up like this?
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not that well versed on the ins and outs of her record in terms of what she did as in California. I mean, I am from Oakland, but I was in Los Angeles by the time she was in office. So I would really want to educate myself and not just respond to the rhetoric about her past. But I think that anyone right now, Joe Biden, any elected official, has to go back and look at where you may have gotten it wrong and look at the present as a moment to get it right. And I don't think that she's an exception to that. If there are things that she did incorrectly. I mean, I've been watching what she's saying and what she's doing, and look, I'm excited by her on the ticket, and I feel like going back to the earlier conversation. We do, if we are able to corral our voices and votes and put Biden and Harris in office, that will be a historic and incredible day. Yet with it comes accountability. And we have to make sure that we are holding anybody we put in office accountable for their decisions and for what we need to see happen in this country.
That's a bar. Yeah, I'm thinking about just the improvement. This is an opportunity for them to, the past is the past, right? As we're preparing for the future, this is the opportunity for, Miss Harris, Brother Biden, to really listen to the voices of Black men and change the narrative, be about change.
And I think what you were saying, the people move the president too, and the vice president. And you mentioned like the Voting Rights Act earlier. That was LBJ. That was the same person that pushed us into the Vietnam War. This is also the same person that passed the Voting Rights Act, and the Civil Rights Acts of the 60s and the late 50s. So we, as the people protesting out in the street, are the ones that actually set the agenda, not the other way around. And so we are the ones that dictate what's going to happen with a President Biden and a Vice President Kamala.
Hey, let me weigh in there just for a second. I have studied her record a great deal. Her time as district attorney in Oakland, her time as attorney general, and I've been a major public critic of those years. I have several friends, including my close friend Jamal Truelove, who I spoke with earlier tonight, who I speak with frequently, who was prosecuted unfairly by Kamala's office when she was district attorney. She did do harm as district attorney of San Francisco. Now that was as long as 12 years ago. She was better as attorney general of California, not great. She wasn't a failure. Like, I would give her time as attorney general a C+, probably her time as district attorney a C-. But there are 2 or 3 things that we have to say about her time as district attorney. We are looking at her time through 2020 lenses, and we are grading her time. This was before her entire tenure as district attorney in San Francisco came before the Black Lives Matter movement. I have seen her, as somebody who has been a frequent critic of her, I have seen her grow and evolve tremendously on issues of justice reform. I don't work with her. I don't know her, but I have seen her. 2020 Kamala Harris is the best Kamala Harris we've ever seen. I've seen her speak, in great detail.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Like I honestly think, I say this as I am more independent, just like Van said he is. I think she has evolved in this Black Lives Matter movement like we all have. She, for instance, now stands for the end of qualified immunity for police officers. Joe Biden doesn't support that. She has said that she wants to end qualified immunity for police very clearly, very boldly, and she's unpacked why. She has said that she wants to end all prosecution of marijuana crimes. Now, that wasn't how she was as district attorney. She says she's grown and evolved on this. I believe her. Why? She actually co-sponsored this legislation with Cory Booker, which was probably the most progressive legislation around cannabis and the expungement of records. I've seen her over these past few months be so precise about how we change the system. Here's my hope, that as someone like her, who ran the system as a local prosecutor, who ran the system as the Attorney General of California, one of the largest states in the country, it would be one of the larger countries of the world if it was its own country. If she wants to put that expertise to good use to radically change the system, she could do so. What Devon said, we are going to have to hold her accountable, Joe Biden accountable. They have to be elected before you can hold them accountable. I think that's some of what Devon is saying, even with Diddy's critique and other things. But I got slammed when I said such a thing because I have been such a huge critic of her. Right. I think she's evolved, man. I earnestly, sincerely think she's grown.
Yeah,
so look,
and even Jamal himself, Jamal's a friend of mine too, has recently endorsed Joe Biden. Wow.
That's dope.
Jamal himself.
A profound moment. This was a man.
Huge moment. Yeah.
It was a barrier for me. And Jamal came forward and said, I was wrongly convicted for murder by her office when she was district attorney. He said, wow. I am moving past this. And even with the knowledge of that, I endorse her and Joe Biden. And my thing is, if Jamal Truelove can get over that, what the hell are we tripping over?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.